I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
You were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Awkward. Oh my goodness. So first, let me just tackle a malicious edit that's been spread online, has gone viral. It's been spread by people like Dan Blanzarian and other high figures. And it's a clip, an edited clip from the video I did about the Ukrainian girl that was on the train. And they did, ironic enough, exactly what I said they would do, which is cry and be victims. Because in the clip, I go on to say that 99% of, black people are uncaring about what happened. And that's where they edit the clip, right? What they don't follow up with is the reason why. And the point of the video was to expose the hypocrisy as to why many people may be desensitized to what's going on due to the hypocrisy and the precedent that has been set before. Now, as we go on to see that they want to say that, oh, this is how black people feel and they hate us. Once again, I didn't say anything about hating white people in the clip. I didn't say anything about applauding what happened to the girl. I said it was a tragedy, RIP, and thoughts and prayers to the family. But this is what they do. If they don't have, something to make them feel like victims, they will create it. They will create it out of thin air, whether they have to do it through malicious editing, whether they have to lie about it, or whether they actually go and do false flags and try to act like, oh my God, see, this is why they hate us. Oh, this is who they are. You have to understand, this is why I dubbed them the Lineage of Evil. Damn. That being said, moving on to more current events, such as Charlie Kirk. And I just want to say this. If a good chunk, an overwhelming majority of the country is celebrating you no longer being here on planet Earth, I don't think it's a far reach to say you were not a good person. And that is correct. Charlie Kirk is not a good person. Well, Charlie Kirk was not a good person.
He's out of line, but he's right.
All right. And I don't mean that in any type of, jokey manner, but he was not. This man sowed division. This man sowed hatred. This man was a race baiter. This man was a racist. He was a bigot. The list goes on. So I just want people to understand. I know that there are some of you who probably cried in Django when Candy perished, right? I understand some of you cried, and I think that's what people want of me and other people. And I want you to understand that's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, I would argue that would be evil and wicked to demand or expect empathy from people who have been harmed by a vicious and wicked man. And speaking of empathy, let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but...
Oh. Now, don't get me wrong. Will there be those Sambo soldiers who are crying about Charlie Kirk, just as there were in Candyland, right, in Django, as Stephen was? 100%. Will there be those Democrats, right, those liberals who are constantly talking about, oh, you're evil and what you're doing is fascism and blah, 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 and they crying about Charlie Kirk? 100%.
Imagine,
Pathetic.
I just want people to understand that there are some of us who stand on 10, all right? And it would be tantamount to asking Ben Shapiro if he cried upon finding out Hitler's passing. That's why I want you to understand. That's what it is. Now, of course, Ben Shapiro wasn't alive, but I'd be curious to hear his opinion on whether or not he would be mourning Hitler upon him finding out that he was no longer there.
There were undoubtedly many nice slaveholders in the South. This is not meant facetiously, again. It's meant literally.
Now, having said that, there is this pushback that people are, disingenuously giving of, well, he had a family. Okay, you have to say he had a family. And I hear you. Don't get me wrong, I hear you. But with all due respect, and Hitler had a family. Stalin had a family. Hell, Osama bin Laden had a family. Were there not people who celebrated them not being on the planet? Or do you expect everyone in the world to mourn these wicked individuals? I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, that would be deemed wicked to mourn the wicked. Because you have to understand, I think everyone agrees that, of course, attacking the family, that is horrendous. The family had nothing to do with it. Even though Charlie Kirk has said himself that if his own daughter were to get pregnant, that he would force her to have the child. That's what Charlie Kirk said.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got and she was going to give birth and she would and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Even though Charlie Kirk, who clearly was the arbiter of the black community, all right, when it came to truth and what was going on, was constantly berating and talking about, single parent households in the black community. That's the issue here. And with all due respect, if he genuinely believes that that is the root cause of what's going on in the black community, well, then I would advise his wife right now to either remarry expeditiously, or to put the kids in foster home so they can find a family that has a father in the household.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Now, right, you probably see that as a little crass, right? A little, that's not good. But this is the type of rhetoric that this man spewed, the type of venom he spewed year after year after year after year. And you just expected everyone to take it on the chin.
Damn.
And now, when, as some would say, the chicken's coming home to roost, you want me to be sad?
I think this same violence has come back to claim one of their own. Now, being an old farm boy myself, chickens coming home to roost never made me sad.
In fact, it's only made me glad.
You want me to be empathetic? Something that he himself didn't agree with? I'm sorry. Not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. Now, I would argue that this should be a wake-up call for the white community. That's what this should be. This happened in Utah, predominantly white state, in a predominantly white college. The person is still on the loose. Hopefully they catch him. But if they don't, this should be a wake-up call for you. And I'm honestly, genuinely the only person who's been warning everyone. I've been trying to tell y'all. It humors me to see many of these white ignorants mourn what happened. And it's tantamount to sheep mourning the passing of the wolf.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being.
Some people won't ever learn. They just won't. But I want those that do learn is that, hey, you can't gaslight people into feeling bad about something that they shouldn't feel bad about. Right? Nobody is justifying what happened. But guess what? We're going to hit you with the Batman. I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to save you. And by that standard, I don't have to praise what happened, but I also don't have to feel bad about what happened. I also don't have to be empathetic or sympathetic about what happened. I reserve the right to be indifferent, to be unapologetic about my indifference of what happened. Or for those who are elated about what happened, they reserve that right, okay? Isn't that the free speech y'all constantly cry about, huh? And I find it interesting that given all the memes of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all the other black victims, that was deemed as, well, that's a joke, Lucas. That's just dark humor. Now we're starting to see some memes of Charlie Kirk pop up, and people are saying, oh, that's poor taste. That's disgusting. And I, once again, have to laugh at the hypocrisy. So I just wanted to put this video out here. I think it's horrible what happened, but at the same time, I will not mourn or be sad at what happened. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not believe, looks like you just hate white people, you're evil. Or if you don't believe hate, absolutely, there's no hate in my heart. I'm actually happy. I'm having a good day. I don't know about you. I can't say the same for other people, all right? But yeah, no hate. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. I feel sorry for those of you who keep on going to the wolf as a sheep and then expecting some type of understanding of what's going on. Listen, that's a wolf. The wolf doesn't care for you. And I understand it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, but y'all gotta wake up before it's too late. But, you know, it is what it is. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Disagreement Day, Thursday through Saturday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think and subscribe. And all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.